people say, I feel like I'm signing my life away. And I say, oh, no, that's when you get married. You're just buying a car. You're just buying a car. You're not signing your life away. That's when you get married. I need new glasses, too. I can't see a damn thing.
Well, hey, you get to invoice us soon, and then
you can get glasses.
You can get glasses.
Yeah. What the hell?
That's true. What are you going to do, Kim? I'm going to Disney. No, I'm going to go get some new glasses.
I'm going to framesdirect.com.
Yeah.
Today's episode, Your Auto Advocate, sponsored by Frames Direct. Use the code Your Auto Advocate at checkout. You probably won't get any discount, but
you can try. You can try.
You could sure as hell try. Hey, so question for you guys. You can't get a discount using Your Auto Advocate at Frames Direct.
Yeah.
Can I get a discount on my sales tax? Is that anything that I can, negotiate?
Discount on your sales tax?
Well, because, come on, I'm buying a car.
Yeah.
We've always talked about the OTD price, right?
Yeah.
Or the on-the-road price.
Yes.
I know you're excited about sales tax, Dad. But
nothing moves me quite like sales tax.
Woo!
Yeah. Thank you, Kimberly.
I'm so excited about sales tax.
Yes.
No, one of the things, though, that I'm curious about is we talk about on-the-road price or out-the-door price, and it's actually really tricky to know in your particular state or region what your OTD price is going to be, because every state and every locality, well, that's a big word, does it differently, right? Like Arizona, Dad, I remember when you were a sales manager there, don't they do some sort of specific tax? And then in different states, they have, different taxes. It's not just a normal sales tax. I guess I'm curious, for today's video, can we just focus in on sales tax so that if I'm a car buyer, I have some familiarity when I'm starting to look at the numbers and understand what I'm getting into?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Sales tax.
Yeah.
So.
Sales tax. We're trying to think of a sexy way to bring this up, but
how do we segue into sales tax?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I did 2 minutes of filibustering to get us into sales tax, and I teed both of you up. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, it was a fastball right down the middle. But hey, pitch number 2 is coming in. Sales tax.
Okay,
Kimberly, what are your thoughts?
We can hit this out of the park. We can.
You got to let it talk.
All right, sales tax. Sales tax. I'm going to take control of this situation. Sales tax. Well, I had the pleasure of working in a multi-state area where I had to know all the different sales taxes, like for Pennsylvania and Maryland and West Virginia and Virginia and even a few Ohio. So I always had to have that going on up here because they're all different. Now, let's start with one where you simply get taxed on the purchase price of the vehicle. So $30,000 times whatever percentage your state sales tax is, there you go. That's simple. But there are certain states that give you something called a trade allowance. A lot of people like Zach call that a discount. And it is kind of like a discount. Don't you think, Ray?
Well, the trade allowance is the amount that they give you for your trade, and in a lot of states, not all states, but in a lot of states, they look at that and they go, well, you've already paid sales tax on that vehicle, so whatever value you get for that vehicle today should be tax-free. So let's say the car is $30,000 and you get a trade allowance of $10,000. Mm-hmm. In certain states, you're only going to pay sales tax on the difference between the two, so you'd pay sales tax on $20,000.
Which, to Kimberly's point, it is kind of like a discount in the sense that...
Well, if you're in Maryland and that's 6%, that's a $600 tax savings.
So as part of the sales tax equation, Kimberly, I guess, is if you have a trade-in, sales tax becomes more complex. And I do have actually a question that I want to ask pertaining to sales tax just in general, but... Obviously, a dealer can use that to their advantage, and you could come in with a Carvana offer that's $1,000 more, but it might not actually be in your best interest to sell to Carvana because of the sales tax benefit. Am I following correctly?
You are.
Yes, you are.
So then I have a question that pertains to where do I pay the sales tax? Let's say I buy that car out of state. Am I paying sales tax back from where I'm registering the vehicle? Am I paying the sales tax to the dealership? And what situations did you guys have in the dealership when you had people from out of state? Do you have software that helps you with this, or do you guys have to manually do it? What's the sales tax process? Because I imagine it starts to get kind of convoluted, especially where you were working, Kimberly, where your hands were in. what sounds like 5 different states.
Yeah, for sure. It depends on the dealership, doesn't it, Ray? I mean, it really does, because with our dealership, if we had somebody, for example, come up from North Carolina, I was on the phone to the title department saying, hey, what's the sales tax? Or doing a little Googling to find out what the sales tax is in that state. So whenever you come in from out of state to buy a vehicle, you pay the sales tax for the state that you reside in.
Okay, that makes sense.
And there is software that is available that dealerships utilize that help them with the titling instructions and the registration instructions for those vehicles, and collecting the sales tax, the correct amount of sales tax for those vehicles. And the dealership collects it and sends the money off to the appropriate tax collecting agency for that particular state.
Well said.
Now, does every
Well said.
dealership have that? Because you just mentioned, Kimberly, you did some Google searching back in the day. So I imagine in that case you didn't have software. You were the software.
Well,
Yeah, I was the software. Me and
Yeah.
Google.
yeah, there's human software. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Things have, like I said, every dealership is different. Ray's right. There's a lot of really nice software that's out there today for dealerships where it takes the legwork out for them, because you really want to make sure that that's accurate. Obviously, it's pretty important.
So what happens in an instance where, because I know I've seen and we've had folks send in their OTD quotes and the dealership's not running it for where I live, they're running it for that state. Let's say I go through with the deal. Do I then have to get like a credit back, or will I owe a debit to my state? Like, I've definitely seen, and we've had viewers with OTD quotes from out of state, and it's not reflecting their sales tax in their state, or even like the title and registration fees for their state. So I guess I'm just kind of curious, what role does the dealership have in helping with that, or is that just is the onus back on me?
That falls on the finance manager, because once you're ready to go through with the deal, I'm going to adjust it and fix it and firm it up and make sure that it's completely accurate. So whenever you get a quote, I don't know, Ray, how did you used to do it? I know at our dealership, we did our best to show you the tax amount on a quote from the state that you lived in. But if we were unsure, we didn't know where you wanted to tag and title it, we would use our state's tax amount. Obviously, that's going to change and get firmed up before you sign anything.
Well, yes, there was a third party that we used that helped us with titling and registration and figuring out the tax for each locale. And if we were close to making the car deal with somebody, I would input all the requisite information so that I could get it to spit out what all the fees were. And I would adjust it in the ADP to reflect the accurate fees so that the quote would be accurate. One of the reasons, and correct me if I'm wrong, but especially if somebody's financing a vehicle, part of your job is you have to make sure that information is correct, because we have to guarantee as a dealership that the lien is recorded in the proper state and everything is set up properly so that the bank won't have any issues.
That too.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and you certainly don't want to be short on taxes. Because
people would like to say, hey, I paid you what you told me to.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. That's why it's just so important that we get that right.
Well, Kimberly, two things. One is someone's doing landscaping nearby, so maybe that's a sign that our fun sales tax conversation has come to an abrupt end. But also, I feel like, how much more can you talk about sales tax? Like, it's a component of the deal. Well, go ahead, Pops.
I forget what I was going to say, but I was going, but because you threw me off with the landscapers.
Well, they threw me off by doing lawn blowing right now, or whatever, leaf blowing. Are there leaves in the
We don't even have a lawn.
Landscapers. I do want to mention one more thing.
Please.
One more thing, if I could, real quick. Certain states, like the state of Pennsylvania, also gives you a tax benefit on rebate. So you can take your purchase price minus your trade allowance minus your rebate times 6% or whatever your sales tax is.
And now in Maryland, as I'm sure you're aware, Maryland taxes the rebate because they look
That's
at it
correct.
as cash down. So every state is different. In Maryland, for instance, on a lease, you pay sales tax
Yes.
up front on the entire selling price of the vehicle, not as a use tax on a monthly basis.
Right, and in the state of West Virginia, it is a monthly basis. So every single month, my payment includes, like a mortgage payment might include your taxes and insurance, my car payment includes the monthly tax. In Maryland, you've already paid that up front.
No wonder buying a car is so hard. I mean, something as simple. I mean, you go to the grocery store, you pay sales tax on, the strawberries you buy. I bought strawberries the other day. But buying a car, it's different in every single state. This is craziness.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. And,
It's fun.
And the
It's
worst
fun.
part is for someone like Kim in finance, they have to make sure that it's correct.
Yeah.
You don't have the luxury of sending paperwork back and forth, 3 and 4 and 5 times in order to get it correct. Although there is one form that I'm sure Kimberly got signed on every deal, and that was the errors and omissions form, so that if there was something that was off slightly, the customer had already agreed that they would be more than willing to re-sign whatever paperwork needed to be re-signed to correct it.
Yep, you got it. And that will go into another video. There are way more forms. So many more forms to go over.
We should totally do a video in the future, Kimberly, on like all the forms that you sign, because we get a lot of emails, from people saying the dealership called me 2 days later and said I need to re-sign something because they did it wrong. Is this a scam? And we replied, it's like, no, they probably just did something wrong and you need to re-sign it. But it'd be really good for us, I think, to A, we do the video, and then B, I'll write a blog post from it to put up on the website. Like, these are the 7 things you anticipate. I know we recently did a video about the 2 documents you really need to dive in on, which are POPs.
Right.
The buyer's order and the retail installment contract.
I'm just
Hey, I
testing
pay
them.
attention.
Just
buddy.
testing them. Just testing them.
Yeah.
But it would be really good for us to do like all of the documents that you can like start to get your feet wet with. Okay, here's what I anticipate I'm going to have to see. But we will save that for another video.
Yeah.
There's almost as many documents when you buy a car as when you sign for the mortgage on your house.
Wow.
Almost.
People
as many.
say, I feel like I'm signing my life away. And I say, oh, no, that's when you get married. You're just buying a car. You're just buying a car. You're not signing your life away. That's when you get married.
Yeah.
Noted. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
I appreciate your time like always.
Well, thank you, Kimberly.
Thanks,
thank
guys.
you, Zach.
See you, Kim.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.